That shudder, that groan, that painful metallic tap when you start your car on a frozen morning. What if those weren't just harmless noises, but the audible soundtrack of your engine destroying itself before you've even left the driveway? I'm not talking about minor wear. I'm talking about measured, accelerated damage that can slash tens of thousands of miles from your engine's life. And here's the brutal truth. Almost every driver is guilty of at least 3 habits that make this catastrophic wear worse. Today, we're going deep on the cold weather engine killers you've never been told about, and the exact science-backed protocol to neutralize them. But first, you need to understand the battlefield. When the temperature plummets, 4 simultaneous changes occur inside your engine, creating a perfect storm for destruction. Enemy number 1, your oil turns to sludge. Think of your engine oil as its lifeblood. In deep cold, that lifeblood becomes viscous, moving with the urgency of cold syrup. At 0 degrees, it can flow 10 times slower than at operating temperature. This means for the first 5, 10, even 15 seconds after you turn the key, critical components, your crankshaft bearings, cam lobes, piston skirts, are moving at high speed with almost no protective film between them. It's a state engineers call boundary lubrication, which is just a polite term for controlled metal-on-metal grinding. The first number on your oil bottle, like the 0W and 0W20, is your first line of defense. It tells you how well that oil flows in winter. The right grade can provide protection in seconds. The wrong one leaves your engine naked for a dangerously long time. Enemy number 2, your battery becomes weak. Cold is a battery's kryptonite. At freezing temperatures, its available cranking power can be halved. Meanwhile, your starter motor needs more power than ever to fight against that sludgy oil. This mismatch is the recipe for that agonizingly slow crank you hear. A battery reading 12.4 volts on a multimeter can be a liar. It might still collapse completely under the intense load of a cold start. The only true test is checking its cold cranking amps, CCA, under load. A free test at any parts store. Enemy number 3, fuel fails to vaporize. Your engine is designed to run on a fine, aerosolized mist of fuel. In freezing conditions, the fuel delivery system struggles. Instead of a fine spray, it delivers larger droplets. Think of the difference between a perfume mister and a squirt gun. Much of this fuel doesn't ignite. Instead, it washes down the cylinder walls, diluting your already struggling oil and contaminating the crankcase. This fuel wash drastically reduces oil's lubricity and promotes acidic sludge formation. Enemy number 4, everything shrinks. Metal contracts in the cold. Pistons, bearings, and cylinder walls are machined to micrometer tolerances for optimal fit at operating temperature. When cold, these parts contract at different rates, creating tiny gaps and misalignments. This causes piston slap, that distinct hollow knocking sound on startup. While the noise fades as metal expands, each event scrapes away microscopic material. Do it enough times, and you've created measurable wear. These 4 enemies attack in concert, making the first 30 seconds to 5 minutes the most critical period in your engine's daily life. But your behavior behind the wheel is the commander that decides who wins this battle. Let's move to the 15 critical mistakes that hand victory to destruction. Mistake 14 and 13. Ignoring pre-winter maintenance and hybrid neglect. We're grouping these because they're about preparation. Worn spark plugs with widened gaps struggle to fire in the cold. A dirty throttle body or mass airflow sensor sends incorrect data, leading to a poor air-fuel mixture. A weak coolant temperature sensor can lie to your car's computer, preventing it from enriching the mixture properly for a cold start. For hybrid and electric vehicle owners, cold weather saps battery efficiency. Not using your vehicle's scheduled departure or preconditioning feature, which warms the battery using grid power, forces the system to work harder, reducing electric range and stressing components from a cold state. Mistake 12. A stuck open thermostat. This hidden component is your engine's temperature regulator. If it's stuck open, coolant constantly circulates to the radiator, preventing your engine from ever reaching its proper operating temperature. You'll notice your temperature gauge sitting low, even after a long drive. This leads to chronic fuel wash, excess moisture buildup in the oil, and a catalytic converter that never gets hot enough to work properly. Mistake 11. Using low-quality fuel in winter. Top-tier fuels contain more robust detergents and, crucially, additives that improve cold weather volatility for better vaporization. Cheap fuel can make cold starts harder and increase the amount of unburned fuel washing into your oil. For diesel owners, this is catastrophic. Summer diesel can literally gel into a solid wax in freezing temps. Always use a winterized diesel blend or anti-gel additives when the mercury drops. Mistake 10. Battery complacency. Assuming an old battery will survive one more winter is a classic error. Batteries have a 3-5 year lifespan. Corroded terminals, even with a light invisible film, create massive resistance. Combine an aged battery with corroded terminals on the coldest morning of the year, and you're guaranteed a no start. The solution? Test it in the fall. Clean terminals with a wire brush and apply protective grease. If it's over 4 years old, replace it preemptively. It's cheaper than a tow truck and a day lost. Mistake 9, the short trip cycle. This is a silent engine killer. If your daily commute is just a few minutes, your engine never gets hot enough to boil off the accumulated fuel and water contamination in the oil. This creates a sludgy, acidic soup that accelerates wear. If your life involves short trips, it's imperative to take a 30-minute highway drive each week to fully heat the engine and evaporate these contaminants. Otherwise, you must change your oil twice as often. Mistake 8. The warm-up revers. Revving a cold engine to get the oil moving or help it warm up faster is one of the most damaging things you can do. You're spinning dry, shrunken components at high speed, multiplying wear exponentially. The oil pump is mechanically driven by the engine. Revving doesn't make oil flow significantly faster from cold, but it does force parts together with devastating force before a protective film is established. Mistake 7. Forgetting the transmission. Your transmission is filled with its own fluid, which thickens just like engine oil. In an automatic, cold, thick fluid can't quickly flow through small valve body passages, leading to delayed, harsh shifts and clutch pack wear. In a manual, gear oil is too viscous for synchronizers to work smoothly, causing grating shifts. The fix is simple. After starting, give it an extra 30 seconds in park, and for the first few minutes of driving, be gentle with acceleration. Mistake 6. Turbocharger abuse. A turbocharger can spin at over 200,000 RPM. Its bearings are fantastically precise and rely on a steady, thin film of oil. On a cold start, the oil feeding it is thick and slow, demanding boost by flooring the accelerator before the oil is warm, often 3 to 5 minutes of driving, long after the coolant is hot. Is like sending a sprinting cheetah onto an icy lake. The bearings can scuff and fail in an instant. If you have an oil temp gauge, wait until it reads at least 160 degree bar force before using significant boost. Mistake 5. Dangerous warm-up methods. This is about safety. Never use an open flame, propane torch, or makeshift heater to warm your engine bay. It's a fast track to a vehicle fire. Similarly, idling in an enclosed garage, even with the door open, allows odorless, deadly carbon monoxide to seep into your home. Every year, this causes preventable fatalities. Mistake 4. Hot turbo shutdown. After a spirited drive or highway run, your turbo is glowing hot. If you shut the engine off immediately, oil flow stops instantly, but the turbo is still spinning at high speed. The residual heat coats the oil inside the turbo's bearings, creating carbon deposits that act like sandpaper on the next start. Always allow 60 seconds of idle after hard driving to let the turbo spool down and cool with oil still flowing. Mistake 3. Stealing engine heat. Blasting the cabin heater the moment you start steals precious warmth from the engine block, significantly prolonging its warm-up time and keeping it in the high wear zone longer. For the first 5 minutes, use the seat heaters if you have them. They use electricity, not engine coolant. Also, trust your oil temperature, not your coolant temperature. Your coolant gauge reaches the middle long before your oil is fully warm and protective. That gauge is a suggestion, not a permission slip for full throttle. Mistake 2. Wrong cranking procedure. For modern fuel-injected cars, pressing the gas pedal while starting is pointless and can confuse the computer, leading to a flooded condition. The correct method is simple. Insert the key, turn to on, and wait 2 seconds for the fuel pump to prime. You'll hear a whir. Then crank with your foot off the accelerator. For manual transmissions, always depress the clutch to reduce starter load. For diesels, wait for the glow plug light to go out. Mistake 1. The long idle myth. This is the granddaddy of them all. The old advice to let your car idle for 10-15 minutes is not just inefficient, it's actively harmful for modern engines. You are maximizing the time spent in the destructive cold start zone. Thick oil, poor combustion, fuel wash, and a cold, inefficient catalytic converter. The EPA states that a cold start creates more pollution in its first minute than a warmed-up car does driving for hundreds of miles. Long idling doesn't warm your engine. It prolongs its suffering. The correct protocol is this. Start the engine. Allow 30-60 seconds for the idle to settle from its high rev startup cycle. Use this time to clear windows and buckle up. Then drive gently. Keep RPMs under 3,000. Avoid hard acceleration And don't use cruise control for the first 5 to 10 minutes of your journey. Gentle driving warms the engine, transmission, oil, and catalytic converter faster and more evenly than idling ever could. This single habit is the most powerful thing you can do to extend your engine's life. You now hold the knowledge to protect your engine through countless winters. But there's one final critical link in this chain: your oil change routine. Using the wrong oil viscosity or extending intervals too far can render all this careful practice useless. In fact, one specific oil change mistake is so common, it acts like a slow-acting poison for engines. What is this critical error? And what is the single best practice to ensure your oil is always protecting, not harming? The answer is waiting for you in the video you see on screen right now. Tap it to ensure your maintenance routine is flawless. If this deep dive saved you from future heartache and repair bills, please support the channel. Like this video, it truly helps. And subscribe to Gearverse for more content that turns complex engineering into simple, actionable wisdom. Thank you for watching.